Hello there. Apologies for the terrible low quality graphics and audio because I'm using the Android Screencast app because the recording I did against Dainty deleted itself right at the start. Apologies also for the typing. I'm doing this on my smartphone. Oh, yeah. So anyway, Dainty played great. He's very unlucky the bleeding recording didn't happen because, yeah, I mean, he played a great game. He deserved to win. He was very modest on the forum. He soundly punished me. He managed to deny me domination in Europe, Middle East, and Asia all game, and he got to South America first as USA. Took over Africa despite me having decalled twice. So credit where credit's due to him. Dainty played a great game and deserved to win. So I'm 3-1 in the league at the moment. Stu and I are almost exactly equally matched. So this should be an interesting game. Our ratings are similar, our kind of win rates are similar and all that. So excellent. Look forward to this. So what do I started with? I've started with duck and cover, but unfortunately not de Gaulle, so I won't be able to take France. No 4-op cards, so we'll see if he stacks Italy or not. He does. So, NASA seems like the obvious headline to guard against Middle Eastern scoring. So we'll go with that. And I need to start tracking cards because I've been making a habit of that. And he does go Middle Eastern scoring, so I make him look like a mug. That's a bonus. And I can't type for toffee on this phone. I'm left-handed, and I find that this keyboard is terrible. So yeah, what else has been going on in the league? Credit to Dainty. Sorry that he's not been posted on YouTube. He played a great game. We could probably reconstruct it from the sheet I've listed, but we'll see how things go. So yes, a damn for him. So the urge to coup Iran now is strictly linked to the fact that I want to deny him access to Pakistan. A big coup of Italy is not appealing with no 4-op cards, and obviously I've got duck and cover, so if I coup, he can counter coup, and then I can either play duck and cover for ops or to deliberately drop DEFCON with a coup if he doesn't. So we'll start with Suez Crisis, I think. I want to hold 5-year plan for a little while yet. Indo-Pak War if he does get into Pakistan. Obviously, D-Style's a good card, but I want to wait till DEFCON's at 2 to expand. And I don't have a lot of ops to steal just yet for D-Style. So we'll start with a Suez Crisis coup of Iran. And it's rubbish. So we'll see if he expands into Pakistan immediately, but he may push into Afghanistan. But that puts me on the back foot, especially if he does start to do crazy things in France. I mean, obviously, another option for D-Style if DEFCON drops is to push into France. But using D-Style to take France is a really bad way of developing your mid-war areas. So I'm disinclined to do that. Of course, I'd be a lot happier if I had seen Europe scoring come out in the first turn headline. So we shall see. Anyway, thanks again to Shaq for organising the tournament. Oh, great. I've suddenly dropped my connection, although my Wi-Fi's sturdy. We'll see what he's done on my return. Nothing yet. Apologies for that. If the connection does act flakily, apologies. But I'm sure you won't miss a lot. He's still thinking. Bless him. He may be holding Korean War. Anyway, Independent Reds comes out and he pushes into Malaysia and Afghanistan, which is a sneaky 1-2 punch. So let's mix some stuff up. Keep DEFCON at 4. See if he pushes in and offers the coup. And if not, I can use duck and cover to take Pakistan. And obviously Formosa's been activated, so I need to watch out for that. But if I can take South Korea, that's also somewhat attractive. If he drops DEFCON, I can always de-style into Thailand. But I want to try and keep pressure in Asia. He's obviously looking that way, not Europe. Otherwise, he would have just taken France, having seen Suez go. Apologies. My Wi-Fi's fine. Not sure what's going on here. This is going to be irritating for you viewers. Assuming I get any, since I seem to be making a hash of these recordings. Back to see my folks next week, and we'll make getting a new laptop a priority, because this will make everything easier. So, he'll be gun-shy about pushing into Pakistan and Thailand and not dropping DEFCON, but if he does drop DEFCON, then he allows me to take Pakistan with duck and cover and maybe the extra op into South Korea. And if he doesn't take Thailand, I can then de-style into Thailand for good measure. But if I do de-style into Thailand, I do want to be putting one in Chile and one in Venezuela at the same time, because I can't just throw away those. A card of that strength. So he's chewing it over. But it looks like Asia's the battleground that he's interested in rather than Europe this turn. One in each. Intriguing. So, he's offering a quid pro quo. Because he's inviting me to coup Thailand with the China card. And then he picks up Pakistan. But I can always try a 1/3 flip on that. And try and take South Korea to make sure I'm even on battlegrounds. So I want to hand over the China card quickly in order to try and break Formosa. So he'll take Pakistan here. Ideally he takes Pakistan, so I can then use duck and cover, even for the 3VP, to drop DEFCON. If he takes Pakistan and South Korea, then the question is, do we race on country count? Or do I try a 1/3 flip of Pakistan with the Indo-Pak War card? Okay, so I will take South Korea, give him the 3 VPs, because I'll get 2 Milops. Because I've got Indo-Pak War, he can't claim Milops this turn. It's an expensive way to play duck and cover, but it covers my back quite well. And if he takes India now, I've got a 1/3 flip on a stronger nation and then can move into Burma. But for now, let's see how he responds. He may try and take India, Japan, and Taiwan and keep the China card, which is when things get very interesting. But we'll see what he makes here. So he manages to get protection, which now makes the Indo-Pak War less palatable. I'm going to space Eastern European unrest, try and get in space before him. Looks like the connection's crapping out again. Yeah, I know. Let's try that again, guys. So I don't think it's telling me something. I do intend to space that again. Apologies for the repeat. Space Eastern European unrest, which fails. That's a bummer. So it looks like I'm going to have to use Indo-Pakistani War for ops. He's spacing decoy, which is nice. That puts it back into the turn 3 deck for me. And he also fails the space, which is a bonus for me. So it's sad to have to play it for ops, but I'll take Afghanistan to prevent him getting 1 point for adjacency. I obviously need to remember next turn that he can flip Thailand with the China card. That's a little frustrating. And obviously with the defectors out, I can't necessarily D-style with it to shore that up. Although that is an option. But we'll see what he does with his AR6 Crisis. I'm guessing because he's spaced decoy, he's stuck potentially with blockade. So I need to think about if I draw defectors, can I red scare him? It's interesting he's pumped 2 into... Well, so he's taking France, so I'm hoping for de Gaulle as well. Okay, so I got blockade. So de Gaulle might get defected. A more attractive option might be Asia scoring, because we know he can't claim Japan, and I'm unlikely to get domination there. So for fear of defection, Asia, and then, although I suppose if I play de Gaulle and he doesn't defect it, I can then take France, and he then has to choose between flipping Thailand to claim domination, he doesn't know I'm holding it, or taking the coup. So it's de Gaulle or Asia, isn't it? Is basically the choice. If de Gaulle gets defected, I'm giving up Europe, but if I don't play it on my headline round, I can't capitalise on it. So it's either de Gaulle and then Comecon, or it's Asia scoring for 1 point, but giving him Europe for domination. So I think because the risk of defectors and even purge, which means if I get purged, I can't use de Gaulle and Comecon anyway, because I don't have any 4-up cards. So I'm going to play Asia scoring, and it's probably going to get defected, maybe purged. Purged. Okay, so de Gaulle wouldn't have worked at least. That's a benefit. So I will now use Romanian abdication to overprotect Thailand. Although I also want to take Laos and Cambodia before he gets to it. So okay. So I guess I read his intentions reasonably well. I'm offering him the coup. We'll see if he takes it in Egypt. He does. Pretty strong. So before losing excess, I take Lebanon for presence. So we're still waiting to see. He's had 4 of the 5 op cards. 4 of the 5 4-op cards. He's waiting on Marshall Plan. I mean, that's relatively uneven distribution, but there's not a lot you can do about it. We haven't seen socialist governments or Warsaw Pact in terms of me hitting him with blockade. Obviously, I still want to hold 5-year plan because I don't want to lose D-Style. And I currently don't have a surfeit of ops. I want to see Truman go before I start pulling things out of East Germany. Because obviously, worst case scenario there is you end up East Germany getting broken and Truman doctrined. That's why Warsaw Pact would be nice, because I could then pull the 4 out straight away. He's got Europe scoring. Fairly done. So keeping de Gaulle and flipping it, actually spacing 5-year plan is an option. And captured Nazis still in the deck, so it's a reason to try and get ahead in the space race. And I get there. So that's something. But I kind of want to see Warsaw come out to D-Style, and I want to see socialist governments go to space so I can hit him with blockade. I'm hoping he missteps. I mean, it's a pipe dream. He should be smart enough to avoid it. So, sorry for the biro clicking. Big 4 colours help me think. He may try and consolidate Asia by taking Taiwan and Japan. So Truman's gone. Okay, so now's a good time to D-Style, pulling out some access here and there. I can remove 1 more. What have I missed? I'll take 1 out of Poland as well. So that's reasonable. And now, of course, what I want to do is try and set up Venezuela and Chile before I get realigned while they're weak. But I kept East Germany in to avoid Truman coming straight back in turn 3. I mean, if you're going to pull out, I don't really like leaving it on a border. And we know Poland's at risk with John Paul later on. But Warsaw Pact and Comecon are still to be used and help fill Poland up. So I don't think it's all that bad. But I guess I'll use de Gaulle now to take Algeria and Venezuela. Although he may put 3 into Algeria. Or try and realign, which he's welcome to do. I mean, he could use the China card here and try and hit Algeria, Venezuela and Chile before I consolidate. And I'm less concerned about using blockade right now, because Europe scoring's gone, D-Style's gone, Decol went to space. So using blockade to cut down hand size to force out all those cards you're normally after is not a prerogative right now. Still need to watch out for CIA created, which is in the deck, haven't seen yet. Ah, blimey, all 5 4-up cards, nicely done. So he's going on the realignment bender. See how successful he is. So far, so good. Okay. Well, that went swimmingly. So I'll play de Gaulle and hope it comes back with Suez and actually get some consolidation in South America, since I've lost my other front. And obviously Allende will help finish off Chile. He may have another go at realigning Zaire, but obviously I get the coup on Angola next turn. Although, of course, I have to watch out for the Middle East at this point. So the question is, do I hit him with blockade and just see like something boring like socialist governments drop out of the deck? So he's protecting against everything but a 6. He gives me all my mill-ops though, which is very decent of him. I think I keep blockade in the deck for an attractive late war, hopefully he forgets about it moment. So blockade goes back in the deck. Yep, okay, that's fine. So I'm really hoping to pull Suez or De Gaulle beginning of next turn. De Gaulle would be good. But Middle East is problematic because he now has domination. But they've all come out, so we don't know what's going to come back out in turn 3. And we can play the old, what is he holding game once the deal comes through. So I expect to see him space socialist governments or something like that. Maybe Fidel, Vietnam he'll play. Use it to take Japan, which makes US-Japan a dead card, which is good for me. So, you know, that's not so bad. So I do get De Gaulle, which I can then flip with NORAD, but I give him the coup in doing so, and he'll probably take Zaire. Defectors is definitely in his hand, though. So, let's track. He's got socialist governments. I've got Korean War. He's got Warsaw Pact. He has the captured Nazi scientist, which is kind of his bland headline. I've got OG. He's got CIA, which is a delight. I have UN intervention. He's got defectors, and I've got the Cambridge 5. Cambridge 5 is also a reasonable headline. So what's he got? He's got captured Nazi or defectors. So depending on whether he picked up a new headline, he'll play that. He's more likely to play defectors worried about me because he can play captured Nazi anytime he likes. So I'm actually going to headline Cambridge 5 and see if he's got any scoring cards. Let me know if you think I should have stuck with De Gaulle, even in pain of defection. Oh, he's gone CIA, so he wants to look at my hand, and he'll probably coup Zaire. Now, he knows I know that he doesn't have any scoring cards, so I don't need to worry about Middle East right now. I could try and save De Gaulle. In which case, I'd probably event De Gaulle at the end of the turn, AR6, and hold UN intervention. Okay, so all he does is clear it out. Could be worse. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can either let him take Taiwan and try and beat him on battlegrounds in Asia, which is also good for Southeast Asia, by eventing NORAD, hoping Quagmire comes around. At the moment, NORAD really hurts me only in South Korea. Afghanistan to some extent, but as much as people hate NORAD, at the end of the day, it really only is painful. It's really only painful when you have a lot of US ops in USSR spaces, and at the moment he doesn't have that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my instincts are event NORAD, taking Malaysia and Indonesia, which shores up against Brushwar and gives me some Southeast Asia pressure. And then even if he takes Taiwan, Pakistan's vulnerable. Quagmire may come out in mid-war. So we'll see how that goes. That may be a mistake. I may want to event Korean War in order to flip it and overprotect if I hit my 1 in 3, but also to get my mill-ops this turn, because I have not got mill-ops. I want to event Truman Doctrine before I get any influence that's going to be lost in Europe. So eventing de Gaulle AR6 means he has his own little AR6 crisis to deal with. Event Fidel, event Korean War. So OG and Truman are my 3 ops this turn. Not many. Although the other reason to event de Gaulle slightly earlier is to push into Algeria and get at least some presence in Africa. So he captured Nazis. Because I don't have a lot of space options, now's a good time to play Korean War and get my... Although I want to overprotect it first, maybe, because he may pump it with the China card afterwards. So I'm going to do that. That may be overly cautious, but with NORAD in the game as well, not a bad option, maybe. Captured Nazis gone. We'll see what cards. So we know he's got socialist governments, which he'll try and space now and try and get ahead in the space race. I'm not going to be spacing OG as a neutral ops thing just because he's getting ahead in space. One small step may come along. So we'll cool our jets just now. But I think I'll hold you an intervention to the next turn. Event Fidel, Event de Gaulle, Event Korea, ops for Olympic Games in either France or... I mean, the problem with eventing de Gaulle is that I can't take France immediately, but it puts pressure on him to do the same. I could then try racing on country count, although that's unlikely. I think I have to kind of give up on Europe for the time being, but a brush war of Italy is always an option. And like I said, I push into Algeria, which provides a bit of oomph. So we'll see what he makes. Just checking it's still recording. Seems to be, as well as my Reddit messages. I think he's probably read me for not having any scoring cards either, because I've been pushing around in Asia, but not trying to get domination, although he might worry I'm about to flip Pakistan or something. Good, that fails. That's a bonus for me. So the question is, do I event de Gaulle now and put him under some pressure? I think I do. Because I expect to see him immediately retake France here. Socialist governments went to space in 3. De Gaulle's gone. Let me know what you think about what is admittedly a very high variance play on de Gaulle, given I can't take France, but he doesn't know that. I mean, if I'm lucky, I put him in a position where he has to use the China card to be certain, thereby losing Formosa, because unless he's picked up a 3 or a 4 op card... No, so he gives me Warsaw, but takes France. So I can shore up Poland. And I'll put 1 in Austria. So now I use Olympic Games to take Algeria. So event Fidel, event Korean War, to build up some presence elsewhere. If he doesn't push into Zaire this turn, I try and co-Angola, obviously. So Warsaw's gone, NATO's playable. And I played OG in 3. So mid-war cards shortly coming out. Obviously, I'd love Brush War for a 50-50 flip of Italy. He plays Defectors for the influence. Yeah, so he's pushing around. So we'll start with the... Because we're not given 2 realignments. That fails, but it's overprotected. And then I'll event Fidel for the last. Now the Defector's gone through turn 7, which is great for me to know. Obviously, there's the option of flipping Europe with a Suez plus 4 op play. But it's kind of nice to see defectors go out in turn 3, because you kind of know you're not going to be frigged with too much. So we now don't know what he's holding. His last few cards were reshuffled. So we're in for some surprises now. But he's on pace. He's used a third of his clock for a third of the game. Unless he puts me under massive pressure, Fidel has to be evented, because it's my gateway against Cuban Missile Crisis. Some access to Central America. Admitted, I have to shore it up straight afterwards. Unfortunately, he's given me Milops again. So Korean War didn't have to be evented. So I'll finish by eventing Fidel, and he may be excited at the prospect of trying to realign that out now at even. But as AR-7 crises go, AR-6 crisis in the early war, pushing into Colombia would be his best bet. And obviously I hope to see Decol come into my hand very quickly, because that's exactly how I would make amends for losing South Africa. Southern Africa. Apologies to the non-South African nations. So we'll see how he plays his AR-6. I'll top up my tea. Whoa, pop. It's in a flask. My tea doesn't normally pop. So anyway, advantage him in the early war. Okay, so denying me some presents there. Alright, so, I mean, it's an attractive hand for me. I've got We Will Bury You for 3 VP. I've got Brush War to attack Italy. Junta to attack Panama. I don't really need to use We Will Bury You. I can even hold on to it. I mean, so the attractive option is Junta to Venezuela and coup Panama, and then play Ops to take Algeria, including Alliance for Progress, which will result in 1 or fewer VPs. He may brush some scoring cards out, but I need to brush War Italy at some point. Lots of options, lots and lots of options. So Eastern European unrest went in 3. We're on to turn 4. I think I'm going to start by eventing Junta. And he may well grain sales me, but we'll see. VOA. So he's going to take away some of my trouble, including Algeria, I suppose, now. As annoying as VOA is in his hand, I suppose at the start of turn 4, it's not a terrible time. It could be a damn sight worse. So I expect to see 2 out of Algeria, and then he's got some dilemmas, because he's not shored up Canada, and I can UN intervention NATO, which gives me plenty of outs. And I definitely want to brush War Italy. He may remove me from Lebanon to deny me presence in the Middle East. That would be a shrewd move. But I will use... I'll use UN intervention NATO to repair damage if I can. If he takes 2 out of Algeria, I can use Alliance for Progress to repair the other damage. And he can't get to Nigeria without puppet government, so we'll wait and see if that comes out. I mean, that's the big risk, I suppose, because then total control of Africa is his. So, Chile, Argentina, and Lebanon. So he denies me presence in the Middle East, but I can put 2 into Venezuela for OPEC and coup Panama. And the connection's going to drop. Oh no, it just took a while. That's great. That's a great result for me. So, Repairing of damage. I need to use 4. So let's use UN intervention on NATO. And put 2 in Algeria and 2 into Iraq. Middle East is still scoring very well for him. I'll be looking to space a MIT, I suppose. I want to play Alliance for Progress sooner rather than later, of course. Sadat's currently worth nothing to me because he owns Egypt. What I'm really looking for, I suppose, is Muslim Revolution. I'll get my Milops through Brush War. So I want to push into Brazil before realignment shenanigans. I suppose the issue is I offer him Milops by covering Nicaragua and Haiti, but that's a lot better than being realigned out of Cuba post-haste. It's a shame I don't have liberation theories. I could then take Mexico and shore up, but beggars can't be choosers. So UNI went in 4, and so did NATO. And he NTBs. Mexico and South Africa. Apologies for the lame. So he gets 1 VP. The alternative here is I put 3 into Saudi Arabia, which makes OPEC less attractive, makes it 3 VPs, and evens up Middle Eastern for now. So he might put 1 in Libya. And that's Alliance for Progress gone for a single point. So I want to dump Sadat. I probably want to space emit. Although I then don't have a second space option. But of course it denies him spacing 2 if I do succeed and puts me closer to the 2 VP spot, although I kind of want to see one small step go before I get ahead, because that's the point where you don't want to space. You don't want to space, get to the 2 cards thing, and then one small step for you to hop back in. So he does, as expected. So the option is, do I brush war now or do I do something else first? I will cover and then I'll push 1 in here, making him think, what do I coup? Do I, because, you know, I'm kind of implying I have Central America scoring, and he can push into Sahara States anyway. I've got We Will Bury You for a monster coup, or Sadat for a smaller one. I can't stop him getting Milops this turn. That's a little too optimistic. He played lads. Lads. So let's see what he's thinking. He's thinking, oh, he played in Saudi, so maybe he had Middle Eastern scoring, but now he's looking away. Maybe he's got Central America scoring because he's claiming domination. He might be just misdirecting with Africa, and it doesn't matter because I've got 3 anyway. What he forgets is if he doesn't coup Sahara States, I take Nigeria. I can then coup Zaire at the start of my next turn if he doesn't drop DEFCON. And if he coups one of Haiti or Nicaragua, it still evens in realigning, so I use the 1 op from Sadat to take Nigeria. So we wait and see where he coups, basically. Ball's in his court. Oh, maybe the ball's in my court, because once again, the signal has dropped. We'll find out after these messages. It is my turn. Apologies, we'll see what he's done. Considering the Wi-Fi is not dropping, I'm not quite sure why it keeps saying the connection's lost, but, you know. All I can do is apologise, which I so do. And presumably, because I'm using Android Screencast, the resolution's going to be so god-awful, you're not going to learn anything anyway. Alas! Colonial Rear Guards comes to the action. So, as much as I don't want to play Emit, I'm gonna to shore up Thailand and Algeria. And I'm not spacing this turn. I'm now hoping to get one small step. And I'm hoping he does not throw away Lone Gunman. But obviously CIA's gone, so, you know, seeing Lone Gunman go kind of levels things up. It kind of makes me queasy to do that. But it also gets rid of Emit before it can cause real trouble in the late war. So all 3 cards going out this turn. I can obviously use the 4-up one to flip Nigeria at some point. He doesn't know that. Brush War to try and take Italy at 50-50. I mean, another option is pumping We Will Bury You into France to scare him, but he'll just put Ops back in. Of course, now he's put one in Indonesia as well. If he takes Taiwan and doesn't give up the China card, that's a risk too. But let's see what he punts first. Comic-Con, Flower Power. And he uses Containment, which stays in the deck, which is interesting. It's normally gone by now. Nigeria, Indonesia. So he's overprotected Nigeria. Very wise. He's now taking the Philippines, so I want to take Taiwan before he can. And one into Brazil. Because obviously I do not want him to take Taiwan and claim domination. Ye gods. So that didn't log. Shall I do the same again? You must choose. The extra one in Brazil was as much of a muchness, really. But I absolutely have to deny him the 4-center domination with Formosa. That's a no-brainer. So I am still going to take Taiwan. And in the absence of another play, pushing into Brazil is perfectly amicable. God damn! I'm going to flip my phone and see whether or not the signal's better the other way around. Sorry about that. You must be kidding me. Third time for luck. Maybe the fates are trying to steer me away from this absolute folly. Or maybe my phone is a piece of shit as well as the laptop. So apologies, you are not in the company of a versed technological maestro. In your own time, not like this is a league match or anything. Come on, I've got Wi-Fi, what's your excuse? Come on, come on. Let's get it unplugged. Right, I'm going to deboot and reboot. Come on, Twiglet. Thank you. If this does not load promptly, I will be loading up the laptop and severing the feed, I'm afraid. Because obviously I'm on the clock. Thankfully I have 5 minutes on him. One last time. There we go. So he gives me remaining in abdication, but that's completely bleeding academic given the fact that Independent Reds has not been terminated. I'll use Sadat to take Brazil. I'm hoping for Allende to try and claim total domination. Don't want him to 5-year plan me now, though. That would suck. Should have thought of that. That was a much less important play than Brush War. If he grain sales me or 5-year plans me now, I've made a right mug of myself. That's what happens when you rush. So I'm hoping he's not savvy to that. He's not. Good. He takes a coup. He's going to go for realigning Algeria. But I don't care about that. I want Italy. And I don't get it. That is a serious bummer. But you've got to take these chances in life. 50-50s. So obviously, a realignment of Algeria here does give him domination, but I try and coup control, presenceless control, but I try and coup Nigeria next turn if he doesn't grain sales me. But Africa's a big problem. Big, big, big problem. That is a bummer, dude. The flip of Italy there would have been awesome. But those 50-50s are what make the game. And I've lost my connection again. Maybe I'll get another chance. Let's try this way around for a while. Brush War went in 4. Alas. US-Japan stays in the deck. He's getting ready for NORAD. I have Africa scoring. US-Japan went in 4. So, Africa's the big problem. So the question is, do I purge him, but I don't have Quagmire? So what's the most attractive? I keep hold of one small step and hope he spaces first, obviously. And then if I do, I mean, Camp David's the obvious space target. Nuclear Subs is more of an AR-7. So I guess Allende is a reasonable headline to try and take all of South America. And I expect to see grain sales here. I miss LMV. So he's purging me. That's a bummer. And I have to use Missile Envy, which I'll use to try and coup Zaire. So my second purge this game, but of my own devising. So the most obvious place for him to put this is into Thailand and flip it with the China card. Of course, Nuclear Subs on AR-7 now invites the South America coup. Yes, perhaps Purge was the right option, but I don't regularly fear Missile Envy. So he is flipping Thailand, which does give him Asia domination, and not a lot I can do about it. Unless I use Cultural Revolution to break one of his country counts. Oy, unpleasant. So do I give him Africa for 5? And then Asia for 6? Puts him on 15 with Europe still to score. But I can only do Cultural Revolution once to flip Indonesia. There's not a lot of option there. Ugh, I'm going to get rid of this before it gets any worse. But now I'm looking pretty poorly. Probably should have put one more in Thailand with Sadat rather than Brazil. Hindsight is 2020, is it not? Do tell me if that's exactly what I should have done with it. ideally before you see this part of the feed. The succession of errors, I suppose. Preventing NORAD, not putting an extra one in Thailand, etc. Small errors make a big difference when you're playing a player of Sean's caliber. One last cup of tea might help. He's lost the China card. I've got Culture Revolution to try and steal it back later on if I can. Like if he Nixons or Yasuras me now. Because he's increasingly likely to be holding Lone Gunman, and that might be one way I can give him trouble. Although he still has containment and can still space. I may event Willy Brandt for the point and current breaking of Europe. I may give up on the Middle East, give him the VP for Camp David and take Chile. He may dump South America scoring before I can do a lot of damage with it, though. He's got puppet government, so he'll move to Argentina. Believe for him. So I start with the coup of Colombia, which just clears him out. Because obviously I don't want to be two-pronged on Panama. That's a good result, really. He may try realigning on Chile before taking Argentina. But I probably give him the point for Camp David and take Chile properly. He may push into Chile to move to Peru and try and prong me. He put in Spain-Portugal because he realised how weak he was after my brush war attempt. And we're down again. Well, I'm sorry this has been so bloody tortuous, signal-wise. Okay, so he's into overprotecting. We'll give him Camp David because I don't hold out a lot of hope in the Middle East and because I want to take Chile before he does anything crazy. But I want to event Willy Brandt. I want to play nuclear subs on AR7. Decal still to come back out, which I can hope for. Salt for Ops, always interesting. I would have salted for VOA. Especially while I'm under Purge. Tell me what you think about that. Oh, he got decal. Right, win. Success, so I one small step. Classic move. Oh, he's got Europe scoring. Oh, should have done that before one small step. Hindsight's 2020. So I'll keep Willy Brandt in the deck for now. Do I? I could try and space Cultural Revolution to headline peak. And that keeps it in the deck. And I've got the card at the moment. But eventing Willy Brandt is probably for the best, even though Europe scoring's just gone, to gain another VP. Don't make me type that twice, phone. So Will is gone. Europe scoring 1 in 5. With Asia scoring still to come, this game is looking pretty slim. Yeah, I know. I'm not typing that again. Oh, maybe he read it. Yeah, some folly there. Some would have said, oh yeah, play Willy just in case, because you can one small step whenever you like. Well, they could space two, so maybe not. Maybe it's okay. Maybe that's not where I've fallen down. Yeah, so Portuguese Empire doesn't flip it. So I will offer him a coup, but I'll put one in Algeria so he doesn't get to realign. He can pick his coup destination, get his mill-ops, but I get nuclear subs out the game, which is a fine thing to do. Usually it's finer when Africa hasn't been scored for domination, but beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, so Asia scoring now wins him the game. Oh no, mill-op swing. Well, in a way, I guess I'm lucky that he didn't take the coup. So South America, if I can get the coup of Argentina, that makes me sit more pretty. I wait till later in the turn to blockade him. So you go for the coup of South America, definitely. So what's the most attractive headline here? I don't have an awful lot of cooing with Che to do. I want to keep some ops. I could coup with the China card and then take it straight back with Cultural Revolution. So, blockade. Why not? So he goes in for Panama Canal returned. Which makes my life a little more difficult in South America. Although, of course, he's got 8 cards. If he is holding Lone Gunman, he actually has to discard West Germany. In which case I can offer him the coup. That doesn't really make my life that much better. Yeah, if he's holding Lone Gunman, yeah, he's got to give up. That's fine. Sadly, there's no way I can force him to discard another card. So the most attractive thing to do, actually, is offer him a coup and see what he does with NORAD and push into West Germany. Because obviously I think he's holding America scoring. I mean, it's reasonable to assume at turn 6 he might have Central America scoring. So he may try and coup Panama here, or he may try coupping Venezuela and pushing into Panama. I can then, if he doesn't break South America, try and take Colombia and Uruguay and go for the realign in Argentina, or Che claim domination. One or t'other. I also ideally want to flip Indonesia to deny domination in Asia. So he gives me Lone Gunman, and I can see his entire hand. And I can make sure I avoid his path to victory, because he's got arms race and Middle Eastern scoring, possible Indo-Pak war. So there's a lot to watch out for. Well, there's not a lot I can do about a lot of those. So he's definitely going to get 3 for arms race if he does a lot of cooing, and 3 for Middle East, possibly 2 for Indo-Pac, so I need to try and score South America sooner rather than later. Right, let's mark him up though. Indo-Pac War. He's got and it would help if my pen worked. There we go. Indo-Pac War. Quag. Muslim Rev. Arms. OPEC. Me. Indo-Pac, I've mentioned, and Brezhnev. No, Lenny Bruce and Lester Banks. I'm going to put another op into West Germany and don't offer the coup. Because I actually want to pump Milops to deny arms race. And if he doesn't take the coup, I can then coup Libya to try and balance up Middle East before he scores it. I can use the China card and then pull Culture Red. But he goes for the coup. Goes for a soft target. Where does he break? But he's got Lone Gunman out the deck, neatly done by him. He'll claim Middle Eastern scoring. But hopefully I can get to Che first. So he'll go for a coup here, and then I can use Che. Because he thinks, oh, I'll coup and claim arms race. And I'll say, no, no. I ideally want to flip Indonesia to level up Southeast Asia as well. And it's nice to know he doesn't have Yasuri, which is why I've given him the China card. But if I can realign him out of Argentina and Venezuela, I can try and claim domination in South Africa. He does go for the coup. Sadly, he succeeds. So to deny him arms race, I have to use Che. And I can use it on Sahara States to start. And then Costa Rica. So he now can't claim arms race. That's a good use of Che. And if he doesn't coup Colombia, which he might not do because he's afraid of me putting in Uruguay, I'll be able to claim South America for domination, which I want to do to get the score down. He's got to bag Middle East at some point. Now he knows arms race is no good. He may use arms race to coup Colombia. In which case, I guess I use Suez to counter coup. It's a shame because I still want to flip Indonesia. So I kind of want to do 2 things with Suez. Huh. As well as break France and a host of other things. Well, that's less important with West Germany up to 3. Okay, so he starts to threaten West Germany. So but he's only starting to threaten it. I'll take South America before he can do anything funny. He'll then take Middle East. I'm then going to space grain sales. I don't need to do that yet. I'm going to flip Indonesia. With Suez. Because then if he doesn't reflip, I can get Southeast Asia off the table. And then maybe take the China card back with Cultural Revolution for AR7. So he's still holding Indo-Pak, Quag, Brezhnev, Muslim. Space, yeah, space Muslim, fine. He succeeds. So I dump Southeast Asia scoring for nothing. He may go Indo-Pak for the points. He's definitely Brezhnev. Yeah, so he's got to play Indo-Pak and Brezhnev because he doesn't want to quagmire himself. So he's now starting to think about Central America. I didn't want a space. I want to take Cultural Revolution. Take China back off him. So Indo-Pak went in 6. Cultural Revolution's out of the game. And we can play what cards are we holding in turn 7. So Brezhnev for ops. He may try a 50-50 realign, or he may coup Haiti as well to set up the realign. Although in that case, I coup Mexico to put him under pressure. So he's going influence. He's flipping, of course. That's sensible. Because he knows Asia's scoring still to come out. Okay, so we know that he is holding Central America scoring. Bear trap, not good. I've got South African unrest. He's got ABM treaty, also not good. I'm in big trouble here. John Paul, yeah, the jig's close to being up. I've got OAS. He's got Nixon, so you can take the China card off me. He's got Liberation Theory. Ask not. And we think he's holding Asia scoring as well. So there's nothing I can do about Asia scoring if he chooses for it to come out now. So the question is he going to bear trap me? And then he gets a coup. So do I duck and cover to deny him a coup but give him 3 VP? Which seems pretty foolish. But I don't see a better option. Let's plot my hand, since the game's going to be up in a minute anyway. Shuttle Diplomacy doesn't help when he's got domination anyway. Yasura is gross, but I need to space grain sales more. If duck and cover's the headline, five-year plan's a risk as well. I guess I space duck and cover and expect to see bear trap, and then use it to dump grain cells and space something else. And I may catch him in a Defcon snare if I'm really lucky. Why not? This is madness. This is Sparta. He's taking the China card off me. So now, of course, I can use shuttle diplomacy to flip and then lose the thing, but he then needs to flip back. Why the hell not? So he needs to flip one of mine, basically. That's the thing I've put him to the sword on. I need space grain cells, so he'll be bear trapping me AR7, I guess. So many 4-ops. Grr. Yeah, okay, so that's put to bed. I cannot contest Asia, so grain cells goes to space. And fails. So Asia scores 7, and we're at the end game. So it's just a matter of time now. But well played him. I made significant errors along the way, I think. And I'd like to hear what they are, if you can bear to watch through all the broken timepiece. Yep, as expected. So I'm going to take a hilarious gamble with 5-year plan. And see what gets dropped. Oh well. That might have helped. And obviously I'll just try and shore up Asuri. Suppose I could have waited for OAS or Summit. A little bit hasty there as well, but I'm starting to feel a bit tender. Okay. Serious trouble now. He should put one in Panama to overprotect it against Colombia. And we shall see if he does that. So I'm going to give him Asia. And do that. Because obviously at this point it's Defcon or hand dropping that's going to win me the game and nothing else. So he can pump Asia. Oh, there wasn't a turn 7 reshuffle. with one draw card left. Okay, so he takes Panama and puts 2 into overprotect. %16 of the time. I also need to deny Milops, though. Ah, that was very fortunate. He may fancy another coup here, because he'll be frustrated at that. Oh no, he's asked Notting. Oh, hello. Liberation and Quag. Oh boy, it's over. Nicely done. Let me know what I could have done better. Let me know if my missteps really were missteps. Very good game. Thanks for watching if you do, and apologies for the terrible resolution, the dropouts, blah 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 blah. But you've got the hang of it now. Maybe a whizzy new laptop will make me a better player. Thanks again.